Information Technology by Stephanie Beckman at Aspen University. Objectives. The first objective of this presentation will be to select one organization and then list and discuss 3 or more efficiencies offered by the information technology in that setting. The next objective will be to compare and contrast 2 commercially available information technology systems available to this setting. The third objective will be to identify and discuss 5 implementation considerations that this organization should consider when adopting an information technology system. The fourth objective will be to explore 2 emerging trends in information technology that will influence service delivery in this sector. And finally, the fifth objective of this presentation will be to list and discuss 3 considerations and leadership's role in driving technology decisions in organizations. Efficiencies of information technology. This portion of the presentation will select one organization and then list and discuss 3 or more efficiencies offered by information technology in that setting. The selected organization or health environment that I have chosen to utilize for the purpose of this assignment will be that of an ambulatory surgery center, also referred to as an ASC. Information technology is defined in the book titled Handbook of Informatics for Nurses and Healthcare Professionals as being a general term which refers to the management and processing of information with the assistance of computers and technological resources. This book also states that information technology systems refer to technology which has the capacity to accumulate, retrieve, control, convey, or accept medically relevant information by electronic means. One article states that the implementation of information technology in the healthcare setting has continued to make patient care much easier, more accessible, more efficient, and more readily available for patients and professionals. One efficiency in particular that is offered to ASCs, specifically by the implementation and utilization of information technology, is the ability for healthcare providers at the ASC to access the patient's health record and history so that they can determine whether the patient will appropriately meet the health requirements of the ASC. ASCs require a certain standard of health for their patients in order for them to safely qualify as a candidate for outpatient surgery. These standards and requirements are in place for the safety of the patient, and information technology helps to make the job of the ASC staff more efficient by allowing these professionals to gain a full understanding of the patient's health history prior to surgery. Another efficiency which results from the utilization of information technology in ASCs is improved communication between staff members. Using technology in ASCs allows for effective and efficient communication between staff members, including determining the current status of the patient, such as whether the patient's preoperative assessment is complete, if the patient is currently in the operating room, or whether the patient has made it out to the recovery room. In this same regard, it also allows staff members to determine whether the patient has checked in and is waiting in the lobby to be brought back to the preoperative area. Yet another efficiency which results from the utilization of information technology in ASCs is in regards to postoperative care and follow-ups. With technology, patients are now able to communicate with staff members electronically to communicate any questions or concerns that they may have throughout the duration of their recovery process. Additionally, technology allows ASC professionals to send postoperative instructions, reliable resources, and suggestions for support groups to the patient, which they can access electronically from the comfort of their own home. Information technology system comparison. This section of the presentation will compare and contrast 2 commercially available information technology systems available to this setting. Epic and Advanced MD are 2 examples of commercially available information technology systems which are available to ambulatory surgery centers. While each work to serve similar purposes for ASCs, they each have some very unique qualities as well as some distinct similarities. We will compare and contrast these 2 systems in this diagram. The first system that we will discuss is Epic. Epic is uniquely catered to larger practices, which consist of 11 physicians or even more. The certifying body for Epic in order to remain compliant with high-tech standards is called CCHIT. Another distinct difference between Epic and Advanced MD is Epic's lack of coding capabilities. Additionally, Epic has significantly more limited applicability to certain clinical settings when compared to Advanced MD. The second system we will discuss is Advanced MD. Advanced MD is capable of accommodating practices of all sizes and does not particularly cater to practices with any particular number of physicians. The certifying body for Advanced MD is, in order to remain compliant with high-tech standards, is called Drummond. Also, as mentioned before, Epic clearly lacks in coding capabilities, while Advanced MD has a strong evaluation and management coding system. Finally, Advanced MD can be effectively utilized in a wide variety of clinical settings, arguably almost every clinical setting to some degree. One similar quality that both of these systems share is that they both are applicable to and efficient for surgical settings. Both systems exclusively use a cloud delivery system and comply with HIPAA standards. Additionally, both systems as a whole have generally the exact same functions aside from their differences in coding capabilities. Considerations. This section of the presentation will identify and discuss 5 implementation considerations that this organization should consider when adopting an information technology system. When adopting a new information technology system, there are certain things to consider in the implementation process. One example is who will be impacted by the change, either directly or indirectly. It is important to consider who will be impacted because everyone involved will need to be notified of the change so that accommodations can be made at all levels of the organization. The second consideration that should be made is when the training will take place and how. It is important to determine when the training will take place, whether it will take place while employees are on shift, before their shift, or after their shift, or it is scheduled in service. Additionally, it is important to consider whether this training will take place for all employees at once or if this will take place during dispersed intervals. A third consideration to make is who will be providing the training for the new system. Will the unit manager or leader be providing the training, or will it be a representative from the system's IT department? In this regard, it is also important to know whether there will be a representative available to help alleviate and fix any issues that arise with the implementation of the new system, and whether there will be an IT representative available to be present during these initial phases. A fourth consideration to make is whether patient care could potentially be compromised as a result of complications during the initial implementation phase of the change. More often than not, when new systems are put into place, especially in regards to technology, issues can arise. It is important to consider that it is unacceptable for the care of patients to be compromised as a result of issues that arise with implementing a new system, and backup plans should be in place to ensure that assessments are not being missed and charting is not being omitted for critical patients as a result of IT issues with a new system. A fifth and final consideration that should be made when implementing a new information technology system is whether the new system addresses all of the unique needs and demands of the organization. During the initial implementation phases of the new systems, employees and individuals utilizing the system will begin to realize certain aspects of the new system that are different from the old system, and certain things that the new system may not cater to in the same way that the old system may have. While these sorts of differences may come up, it is important to listen to the opinions of the people utilizing the new system and address any concerns that they may have regarding the new system so that the same quality of care can continue to be provided for patients. Emerging trends. This section of the presentation will explore 2 emerging trends in information technology that will influence service delivery in this sector. Trend 1, postoperative visits via telehealth. One trend in particular that is emerging in information technology that will influence service delivery in ambulatory surgery settings is postoperative appointments in the form of telehealth visits. One article discusses the results of a study where routine in-office postoperative appointments were replaced by telehealth visits. These telehealth appointments offered video visits with a surgeon via web or mobile app, allowing patients the opportunity to follow up with their healthcare providers virtually as an alternative to a standard in-office visit. The results of this study determined that telehealth follow-ups as a replacement for an in-office visit provided an exceptionally high level of patient satisfaction with essentially no notable differences in patient health outcomes. The study concluded that telehealth follow-up visits following routine ambulatory surgery center proved to be an exceptionally safe and efficient alternative to standard in-person visits. In fact, 95% of patients who received virtual postoperative visits reported being extremely satisfied with their visits, with most patients even stating that they felt that they received the exact same level of quality care as they would have at a routine in-office visit. This trend is beginning to gain more and more popularity for a number of reasons. For example, it's equally convenient for both the patient and the provider to participate in a virtual visit. Also, with the patient satisfaction rates being so high, it seems to be an excellent alternative. Trend 2 is electronic documentation systems. Another trend that is emerging in information technology that will influence service delivery in ambulatory surgery settings is electronic documentation systems. Ambulatory surgery centers have been fairly slow in adopting electronic documentation when compared with other types of healthcare facilities and organizations. However, recent changes and developments related to documentation requirement standards, storage and security needs, and competition for physicians and perioperative staff have contributed to a recent spike in interest regarding this type of technology. Electronic documentation systems can prove to be extremely beneficial in ASCs in a number of ways, including helping to meet clinical, financial, operational, and regulatory needs of the organization. Additionally, electronic documentation systems prove to be an efficient way of documentation and maintenance of records. Technology decision making. This section of the presentation will list and discuss 3 considerations and leadership roles in driving technology decisions in organizations. When making big decisions regarding technology and implementing new technological advancements and systems to a facility, there are certain things that the leader of the organization in particular must consider and certain roles that they must fill. For example, one role that the leader must fill in this instant is the role of creating the plan for implementation of the new technological system or advancement. In filling this role, the leader must consider whether this plan will work effectively for staff members, the facility, the workflow, and for the patient population who will be being served. Another role the leader must fill when making decisions regarding technology is the role of determining the goals or outcomes associated with the implementation of the new technology. When filling this role, it is essential for the leader to consider whether these goals are realistic and achievable for the facility and whether the staff and the patients will benefit from its use. A third role that the leader must fill when making decisions regarding technology is the role of following up with their staff regarding the new technology. In doing this, the leader must consider how the system is working for the staff, whether there have been any issues since its implementation, whether the goals are being met, and if efficiency in practice has been improved without compromising patient care. Conclusion. In conclusion, the first objective of this presentation was to select one organization and then list and discuss 3 or more efficiencies offered by information technology in that setting. The next objective was to compare and contrast 2 commercially available information technology systems available to this setting. The third objective was to identify and discuss 5 implementation considerations that this organization should consider when adopting an information technology system. The fourth objective was to explore 2 emerging trends in information technology that will influence service delivery in this sector. And finally, the fifth objective of this presentation was to list and discuss 3 considerations and leadership's role in driving technology decisions in organizations. References. These are the references which were utilized for the completion of this presentation. Thank you for your time.